Hi everyone, welcome back to the second episode of the series on how to create a professional map using the ArcGIS Pro software. In the previous example, we covered how to add data to the ArcGIS Pro environment, and today we are going to focus on how we can extract the point of interest, the region that we want to create our map. Inside, we are going to extract only that particular region and then also include other data and also the data of the Ghana Health facilities. So let's get started. Okay, so this is the data for all the regions that we have in Ghana over here. When you go to the attribute table section, it's going to give us the metadata that comes along with this shapefile. So on this column, admin1, administrative 1 in EN, which shows the names of all the regions that we have in Ghana here. And then we are only interested in one particular region, as I said in the previous video, which is the Greater Accra region. So then we are going to extract this region out of these plenty regions or polygons that we see showing on our map over here. And now there are actually two ways that we can extract this point of interest, and we have the simple way, and then I'll show you the complex way. So the complex way, not a bit complex, but it's very much good if you know how to use that option, is using at the map tab section at the selection panel. You're going to use the select by attribute tool to select the point of interest based on an attribute that you're going to give to the machine or the software. So you go to the select by attribute section, and then in the attribute select by attribute dialog box, you have our input row to be administrative regions. You can actually select this one to change to the particular one that you want to make your selection from. So but we're going to leave it at administrative regions. Now the selection type is being left to new selection. We're going to leave it like that. That is to tell the software that after we have made a selection, you should create a new layer out of the administrative regions and then make it stand alone in our content pane section. Now the down here has to do with a little bit of making sense out of the clause. So the where field has to do, we have to select where in the metadata that you want to take out the data from. So before you use this, we have to go to the attribute table and make sure we really know what is inside the data. So inside this administrative regions, we want to look at administrate ADM1 underscore EN. That is where we want to look at, and then that is the same column that you want to make our selection from. So we are going to tell the software that look where means look inside admin1 underscore EN, which has the name Greater Accra. So now the clause, we are going to define the clause here, which is equal to. So we can select is equal to, not equal to, and then a whole lot of options that we can choose from over here. But we want to select inside the administrative regions where the administrative region that we want to is equal to a particular region. So we are going to select the first one, which is equal to, and then we are going to select the name of that particular region, which is Greater Accra. Once we are done, we hit on apply, and then we click on OK. So you would see something that automatically that particular region is being highlighted in our table of contents section. And then if we look at the map section also over here, you could see that particular region being highlighted over here. And once you have the region highlighted, we can go ahead and then take out that part from the whole. And the second way that we can select this particular region out of this whole is the very easy one, which is when you go to the attribute table, you migrate to that particular row, which is this one, Greater, which is row 7. You just select this one, and then from here you will see that that particular row or that particular area is being selected. And that is the shortcut. That is the most simple one, which I prefer to use most of the time. So once that part is selected, I go ahead and then take out this particular section out of this whole region. So I'll right click on administrative regions, and then right under selection, I'll go to make layer from the selected feature. I'll select this feature, and then a layer will be created out of these whole regions. And then you see the layer which was just created being added to the content section. So I can now go ahead and then remove my administrative regions, and then to be left with the one that I just selected. So what I will do is that I will zoom, make it big. I will zoom to layer, make it big, small. So now this is the region that I'm going to work inside, that we're going to create the map to show the Ghana Health facilities. Now you can do a little bit of symbology settings to this one. Most of the time I like to view what is inside my region, so I set my symbology to the black outline to show nothing inside but only the boundary of the region. So to do that, you can actually select this one, the administrative region selection, that is that layer, make a selection, and then from here you could see that there are some options being added to the menu section over here. And then at the feature layer, we can go there and then we can choose the symbology to go and then make changes to how this thing is appearing. And then the shortcut, I like to work with shortcuts. So the shortcut to do this is, you see the small polygon we have down here, you click on it and it leads you straight to the symbology section at the catalog section we have over here. And then from here I can make changes on how this one is looking. I can select this one and it will automatically apply to it. I can also make changes to how the outline of the area is looking like. You can increase the size to it, and then you see the black outline has been increased in size. You can make changes depending on what you prefer, but I would like to leave this one to the black outline to only show the outline of my area of interest. So now that I have this one, the next part is to go ahead and then add some other data. Let me uncheck the world health shield, and then also, okay, this is it, so let me just uncheck the world topographic map. We can bring it in later. So now the next part is to add the other data that I want to include or show in my map, which is the route. So I will check the route to make it visible in my map. So once I have the routes being shown here, I would repeat what I did to the administrative regions. I'm only interested in routes that are showing inside the region of interest, which is the Greater Accra. Then all the rest of the rows being shown outside, I'm not interested. So to do that, we are going to use a tool. We will go to the analysis section, and then we are going to use a tool from the geoprocessing tools. So we are going to use tools. So click on these tools, which is the geoprocessing suitcase, and then the geoprocessing pane options. And then you will see from here that the recent tool that we have used is being shown over here. And then we also have, most of the times the software gives you the most used tools inside the system, and then it shows over here as a favorite. And then if it is any one of them that you want to, you just select it out from here and then you go your way. But to select the tool that you want to use, you go to the toolboxes, which is a suitcase of all the tools for any analysis that you want to make. So let's say I know where this particular tool I want to use is. I just navigate to that particular tool and then try and select that particular tool that I want to select. And then that tool you're going to use is the clip tool. You are going to, if this is it, then we'll select it and then we go away. But most of the times, if you don't know where that particular tool is within the toolbox that we have over here, the best option is to use the search bar to find it. So find tools. Within this, we are going to use the clipped tool to clip out all the rows that are not within the Greater Accra region. Take it out and then maintain only those within our region of interest. So once you type in the click, this is the clip tool that you're going to use, and we can find it in the analysis tools. So we select this clip tool and then gives us these options to make our selection on the particular clip feature that we want to use. So the input feature, the input data test, is the new feature that we want to clip, and then the clip feature is the boundary or the outline of that feature that we want to clip. So now our input feature is going to be our road feature. We select our road, and then the clip feature is going to be that of the administrative region selection. And then our output feature is going to be how, or the name that is going to be given to the clipped feature once the tool has finished its processing. So now once we have that click on run, and the tool will perform its magic to give us the extent to which it has clipped. So okay, right now the clip is completed, and then let's look at something at the content section. So once the clip finished, this name root underscore clip is being added to the content section, and we have it here. So the visualize the lesson, check the main one, which is the roots, and now we only have roots from where? We only have roots from the greater Accra region, and then all other roots is gone, has vanished from this area. So we can go ahead and then remove the root section also from this one, leaving only that of the rows inside the greater Accra region. And then we repeat the same thing for the Ghana Health facilities as well, to only include only data from the Ghana Health facilities. So we are going to back to the geoprocessing tool pane, another clip feature. We are going to use the Ghana Health facilities, and then the clip feature we are going to leave it as administrative region selection, and the output name we are going to leave it at Ghana Health Facilities GHF, and then we click on run. Wait for some few seconds for this tool to finish up. Once that is done, you can go ahead and then uncheck the main data, and then leave only that of the health facilities which is showing inside the greater Accra region of Ghana. So we have the data shown over here, and then as usual, just as we made the appearance of the boundary, we can do the same thing to how the rows are looking, and then how also the Ghana Health facilities are also looking. So the roots, it's a line feature, and then the Ghana Health is a polygon or a point feature. So just as we did with administrative regions, we click on the line under the root clip, and then we can make changes to how it is being shown over here. So we can use the boundary to indicate how the rows are showing. You can also choose highway, and it will automatically be updated. But the boundary makes our work a bit nice, and I like to work with this one, so I'll maintain this. But then ideally, in a professional map, we don't use dashed lines to represent rows, we use solid lines to represent roads. And since these are internal rows, you can use a solid line to represent this road. And then at the property section, we can reduce the line width to about 0.5. We don't want it to be showing deeper, so this is it, which is 0.5. And then we can also make the same symbology settings to our Ghana Health facilities by clicking on the point, and at the gallery section we can make changes to how they are appearing. We have a whole lot of it from here that we can use as our symbology to show the Ghana Health facilities. But I'm much more interested in this point. I just want to leave it like that. Don't want to make it complex, because if you should look at this area, it's a bit crowded at this section. Just leave it like this, and then we are good. And then another thing, if you want to give a name to the names of these points that is being shown, or the names of these lines, and even the name of the polygon, you can also do that. So if we want to show the name of this boundary inside our map, we just select the administrative region right at the content section, and then at the top here we go to labeling, and then from here we tell the software to name it from a particular column. So we are going to give the name from the particular column that contains the name of this boundary, which is the admin one. And then you can also make some changes to the type of font or the style that you want to use, and also the font size. So you can maintain it with Tahoma and leave the writing to be bold, and then the font size you can leave it at 10. Once we have these settings okay, we can just click on label, and then our boundary is being labeled. You can see over here. greater account. We can do the same thing also to the Ghana Health facilities, but ideally okay, let's do it. Let me decrease the size to 6, and then we can label our feature, and then we have to wait small a bit for our feature to load. And once that is done, we will see the names of these small point features that we have over here being displayed. So once it finishes, you would see the name showing over here. Let's wait small because it's loading. GHA facility name. All right, let's label this one. I want you to see something over here. All right, good. So our function has finished, and then you could see the names being shown. Kind of make the thing very crowdy. Yeah, let's wait a bit for this thing to regenerate itself. All right, so you could see this one is the 37 military hospital. This is the Ghana Police Clinic. This one is also the Airport Clinic Limited. These are particularly the names of all these regions that you have over here, but we are not interested in it because you can see they are crowded together at one section, and then showing the names of these points would make the thing look clumsy. So we uncheck this one. We don't want to label any feature from this one, then we leave it as it is. And then administrating region 2, let's take the name out. We don't want to label this feature here, and then we have this one like this for our map. So once we have that done, one other thing, let's make this the naming of these things a bit more realistic. So leave it at Ghana Health Facilities. And then this one we leave it at root clip. And then this one to make it the Greater Accra region. Alright, and then press and enter, and then our naming is being showed fine over here. That is how we extract our point of interest when we have a whole data that has other ones that we don't need. We do the same thing to all other features that we would want to clip it out. And that is that for today's video. In the next session, we are going to look at the graphical features that we can also add. The software gives us the option to be able to do some graphical representations, make visual representations using charts like bar chart, histogram, pie chart to tell or show what we are talking about. And then we do that using, in case you want to make a chart for the Ghana Health Facilities, we can do that. You right click and then go to create chart, and then you can see a whole list of charts available for us to produce. And then we are going to look at that in the next video, so stay tuned.